Yeah.
So it's £5 a day.
That's the price point that the market has set. I mean, it's not us to dictate that. We simply create the shell for that, but that seems to be where the market for low cost internet is going. And it's not per day open, it's per day per device. So again, the VulaCoin ability to map it to a device is really interesting, because what you can also do is you buy your voucher for 24 hours and it might start on your phone, but later on you might move it to your laptop if you're working in call center agent, and in the evening it might move onto your smart TV while you stream a game of soccer or whatever. And again, VulaCoin is a platform that allows you to manage those different devices while keeping your one voucher concurrent.
Good morning. I'm Matthew Burbidge from ITWeb, and I'm joined this morning by Steve Briggs, the CEO of VulaCoin. Welcome.
Thank you, Matthew.
So VulaCoin, what problem were you trying to solve with that?
So VulaCoin exists to make microtransactions affordable in the digital money space.
So you're saying that's tiny amounts of money?
Tiny amounts. So I define a microtransaction, anything up to $1, so call it 18 Rand, 18, 20 Rand. And if you think about the current payment structures, particularly card in banks, if you're going to do a transaction between 0 and 20 Rand, it's going to be expensive. Our customers primarily sell pay-as-you-go time on the internet. The price point in the market at the moment is £5 a day, and £5 on a card transaction would probably cost
25 Rand, or
at least £2.50 on the fees. So you'd lose 50% of the value of your transaction or of the product just to payments.
So that's £5 for 1 meg.
£5 for a day is
Okay.
the common model at the moment. So we've tried to find a way of bringing that cost down, in as much as we got control over that. We still have to take the fees the banks throw at us, or what the voucher processes and so on would charge. But once it's in our platform, using very low cost transaction structures, we try and make it as affordable as possible for the end user. Being fully aware that the market we're serving, which is people in low cost communities, A, may not have all the banking products you'd expect, like cards and so on, and B, are incredibly sensitive to price. So if you were suddenly to add £2.50 to a £5 transaction just to offset the cost, your price elasticity on that would mean you'd pretty much lose your whole customer base.
Yeah. Okay, so you are bringing down the cost of micropayments, and I mean, when did this occur to you?
So just to be fully clear, I was not the founder of this at all. There's a really smart team behind you. The founder of VulaCoin is a guy called Cornelius Grayling, and probably about 3 years ago, the problem started to get worked on. We had looked at various use cases. Our primary customer is actually an NPO called Project ITWeb. They do low cost connectivity in schools and mining communities and so on. And they were our first customer who effectively gave us a problem to solve, and we worked with them and ultimately have come up to where we are now. The platform is now being used by many other ISPs, both in South Africa and beyond. But I guess our genesis goes back to the team at Project ITWeb.
Okay, so that would be like 3 years ago. So.
Yeah.
And all right, so can you sketch out for me how it actually works?
Sure. So VulaCoin today is 4 things. It's the technical stack for an operator that wants to go into pay-as-you-go telco services. So let me try and put that into English. So if you want to be able to sell time on an internet line effectively, which is how a lot of the operators in these low-cost communities are now working. So instead of selling consumption, like, for example, the mobile operators do, where you buy a gig of data and you can use that gig over weeks, or you might use it in half an hour, depending on what your application is.
What you're
doing, The market we're going after is very suspicious of a data bundle. where's my data gone? You stole it. That's a common refrain. So what we really are underpinning is we're selling a trust-based model by selling you time on the internet rather than a consumption bundle. In order to make that work technically, you've got to be able to, as an operator, know when to switch a device on. I say, this device is now allowed to consume data on this network, and when we switch it off, after 24 hours or whatever the time period is that you buy that. So VulaCoin is the tech stack that does it, and it does it very cleverly. It's very detailed. It locks in a MAC address to a bundle, etc., etc.
And it works off your ID number or your mobile number?
Well, your mobile number is your kind of entry point into the system. Once you log in, you use your mobile number for that.
Well, that's like front and center on the website.
Correct.
Okay, and that's quite deliberate about that.
Quite deliberate about that. But the tech behind it actually goes into your device's MAC address.
Okay.
And it locks that in and says, okay, this is Steve's phone, this is the MAC address, I'm bundling it with 24 hours.
And it's a timestamp then.
The timestamp then, and then your consumption rolls through. And then at the end of that, and you can watch it, it's very transparent on the effectively the web app that is a captive portal. You can see how much time you've got left. And when your time's up, you literally lose connection to the network. There's nothing.
Does it give you like a warning, 5-minute warning?
No, it doesn't do that.
Okay.
But you can see it for yourself.
Okay.
And track it from there. Yeah.
So, and then once you're on that, so you say it's time-based, not consumption-based.
Correct, yeah.
So how much can you use? Or
well, it depends on the underlying speed of the network that you're on.
Yeah.
So, a number of our networks are really fast. When I say our networks that our customers provide, I mean, some can be up to 100 megs a second plus. So if you just do the maths on that, you can burn a lot of gigs in that period. And interesting, we have seen over time, the number of gigs downloaded per 24-hour bundle has gone up as customers get more digitally immersed and people come up with more creative ways of what they want to do in that 24-hour period.
So what would you say, would be the average at the moment, would you think?
We've got so many different use cases across our networks, but on the low end, it's probably a gig a day. On the high end, it could be 3 or 4 gigs. It really depends what the end user wants to do.
Mm.
And one of the advantages of VulaCoin, so to come back to your previous question, what does it do? It does 4 things. So it's this tech stack that allows billing in a pay-as-you-go way. It's also a digital wallet. So effectively, it becomes a way of keeping a store of value digitally, even if you don't have a bank account. It's also a digital marketplace. So once you log in and you've put value in that wallet, and as I say, you can put that value in through the traditional ways like debit or credit card, but you also accept all the vouchers in a South African context, so Flash, Kazang, Blue Label. And it also has a reseller component. So very popular in some of the township communities where our ISP customers are, is to have a reseller. So you go up to the lady selling fruits or veg on the side of the road, give her your 10 Rand and she would flick 10 Rand into your account as well. So it creates this kind of mini incubator model in those markets too. Once the value's in your wallet, it then guides you through what you can buy. So a day, 2 days, 5 days, 30 days of internet, as the case might be.
And can I buy like tomatoes with it as well?
No, you can't.
It's
got one use case right now, which is to sell time on the internet.
But I can give it to you.
You can. So there's a way of effectively transferring value from one user to the next, but it can only ever get cashed out via a merchant. So it's not like you can go to an ATM withdraw the money that I've sent you. It's like some of the mobile money models allow. It's one way in, and the only way ultimately that value gets consumed is by buying time on the internet.
Okay, so that's the sole use case.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can dig a bit more deeply into that for me, because once the the voucher's been created, and then it's spent, is that then removed from your system in some way?
Effectively, think of it as a T account. So
there's a crypto
No, there's no crypto here. Unfortunately, our name harkens back to the days when crypto sounded sexy.
Okay.
But there's nothing crypto-like about our platform.
On the side of it says like the coin is burnt. And that's kind of crypto language.
It's crypto language, but it's really just a way of moving money from. So you effectively got your own individual wallet in there. So Matthew's wallet on VulaCoin for £5 and he now wants to get a day of internet. So you take, effectively what you're doing when you're burning a coin, you take your money out your wallet and you give it to the merchant into their wallet. And it's as boring as that. There's nothing, sexy behind the terminology.
Is there anything similar to this product?
I mean, there are a plethora of digital wallets in South Africa and around the rest of the world. Some are really famous. I mean, think of M-Pesa as it dominates the payment landscape in Kenya and other parts of East Africa.
So is it not really a competitor then?
No, not really. I mean, M-Pesa is very different in the sense that money can come in and can go out.
Yes,
and it can go out to another person, so it can do a person-to-person payment, or it can go out to another merchant, not just for data on the Safaricom network in Kenya, but you can buy your veggies or tomatoes or whatever it might be. So it is in a sense a true bank account. It comes with its own regulatory requirements, etc. When you're doing that. Ours really is very different to that. It's money in, and the only way the money can go out is once you've bought some time on the internet.
Did you have to speak to the regulators about this?
So very much so. So I mean, we are. We have a sponsor bank that's had a look at this whole system and has been comfortable that we've got the right regulation.
Can you say which one it is? Or?
I think I can. So Nedbank is our sponsor bank on this. We've also got a third-party payment provider license, again through Nedbank, and we are registered with the FSC to just do what we do. So I mean, there are regulatory and compliance concerns in any fintech type environment. Sure. And that's why we're very strict around the fact that it's a one-way ticket in, so the money can come in and it can only be used for one particular instance, which is time on the internet. And that satisfies the regulatory requirements as they stand today.
Did anything unexpected happen in your journey? I mean, did anything happen like the way you thought it would work and then something else happened?
I mean, all the time. So I mean, I think it's really interesting to see how our customers respond. So I mean, ultimately,
how many customers do you have, by the way?
On the ISP side, we've got 20 plus ISPs on our platform. Some are in South Africa, some are beyond.
But people
it would be up for our ISPs to disclose. I wouldn't want to give away that. But
you must know roughly.
No, they're lots.
They're like hundreds of thousands, or in the tens of thousands, or.
There are lots, Matthew, and I'd rather our ISPs commented on the customer base. That's not something we can do, but it's a well-used platform, and it's definitely it's robust and has, I guess, been tested well. So what do we learn? We're fascinated by people's buying patterns. So I mean, each community is different, but there's some fairly consistent patterns. For example, weekends are always more popular than weekdays. Around payday, whether payday is the day your grant hits your account, or if you're a government employee and you paid on the 15th, or you're a salaried person, you paid on the 25th, you can see interesting spikes in that.
Are you doing anything with that data?
No, we're not. I guess in time that data becomes really interesting and valuable. I mean, in a sense, not even our data; it's our customers' data.
Sure.
So lots of protection around that. But nevertheless, in the world of big data, there are these patterns that pop up that are very fascinating. Yeah.
So it's R5 a day.
That's a price point that the market has set. I mean, it's not us to dictate that. We simply create the shell for that. But that seems to be where the market for low cost internet is going, and it's not per day open, it's per day per device. So again, the VulaCoin ability to map it to a device is really interesting, because what you can also do is you buy your voucher for 24 hours and it might start on your phone, but later on you might move it to your laptop if you're working in call center agent, and in the evening it might move onto your smart TV while you stream a game of soccer or whatever. And again, VulaCoin is a platform that allows you to manage those different devices while keeping your one voucher concurrent.
And you've obviously got visibility into as it moves across the device.
Yeah. We see what happens. And by far the most popular device is a mobile phone. Yeah. By far. But it is interesting that once low cost ubiquitous internet hits communities, smart TVs follow pretty quickly. It seems people are able to prioritize spend for something like that.
Definitely. Yeah. So where do you run where does it run?
It sits in the cloud. So we use AWS as our cloud service. which means you can host in multiple geographies, around the world. For some of our international clients, we've created a multi-language, multi-currency capability. And then depending which market we're in, some markets have got a GDPR type concerns, so papaya concerns in South African terms, where you may need to keep customer data locally, i.e. it can't leave the shores of country X.
Sure.
So our model accommodates that, where we can still do the compute side of our payment processing in the AWS cloud, but then keep the local data safe according to data sovereignty laws of those countries.
So what AWS services are you using?
That's a great question. I mean, generically, we're using the compute stuff,
Okay.
And the security side. I'd be at risk trying to tell you which ones we're using specifically. I'd have to get our engineers to tell you about that.
Sure. That's very interesting. And I mean, we've got a region in country, so
yes, we do.
Very useful for us.
Yeah. And also, it's expanding across the continent where we see our future market to be. So that's great. As AWS pops up data centers in Lagos and Nairobi and elsewhere.
I believe there's one coming there.
Yeah. So we'll be hot in the heels.
And so, well, other than South Africa, where are you? And do people do you white label it so that people can call it what they want?
Completely. So our ISPs call it what they want. So I mean, VulaCoin is really just a B2B name, if you want to call it that, for the telco industry. Effectively, it becomes the name of whoever the operator is.
Would I recognize any of those names?
So our biggest customer is FiberTime.
Okay.
And I think you'd recognize them. Yeah.
And so what do they call it? You don't
call it FiberTime.
Okay,
FiberTime.
okay.
As you click on the SSID, the Wi-Fi name in a FiberTime network, it pops up, and FiberTime is there, and that's VulaCoin running behind the scene.
All right.
But that
any international people doing it? Or?
Yeah, we are. We work in some other markets. Again, but sensitive, can't say where, but they are on this continent. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're moving north?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anyone off the continent?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we are on some discussions, but
it's a thing that can just scale.
Yeah.
And then so then you once it's scaled, then it's still run on your platform.
Correct. Yeah. It's just a white label instance.
Okay. So as it grows, you're gonna scale it up.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think of PayShop?
Yeah. So I think PayShop's a great initiative. I mean, it's clearly modeled on other emerging markets where a national payments platform has been set up. I think India is probably the poster child of that.
Brazil as well.
Brazil, yeah. That's true as well. Brazil and India. I think the pricing our commercial banks in South Africa have attached to PayShop talk to a need to protect existing revenue streams.
Exactly.
So I think it could be much better if we got the pricing right. And I mean, from a VulaCoin side, we've got no dog in the fight as to which payment platform is there. We'd love it to be as cost effective as possible, because that would just be another way of getting value into your VulaCoin account. So we watch with interest where PayShop is going. But for now, economically, it hasn't kind of hit the price point yet where we think it's viable for the market we're going after.
I know. I mean, well, India, Brazil, it's free.
Yeah.
And that's when you really see.
Yeah.
But the banks do have to protect themselves, I suppose. Well, I think that's a good place to end. Thank you very much, Steve, and I'm looking forward to seeing how VulaCoin takes over the world.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matthew.